The phone that can do it all, let's make a call, smartphones. Before the creation of smartphones, we had the existence of cell phones. These were small portable devices that made calling and communication between people very easy and not to forget convenient. On December 23, 1900, Reginald Friesender, from a small-time inventor from Washington, D.C., accomplished a remarkable feat by inventing the first two mobile cell phones known to man. With the foundation of cell phones finally set, we saw the rapid evolution of cell phones and the evolution of them into what we now know as smartphones. With this, we saw the invention of the very first smartphone with a touchscreen display, created by IBM in 1994 and was finally readily made available to customers to purchase. And with time, the features of these smartphones slowly evolved to perform more advanced actions and features, such as social media, texting, video calling, taking pictures, and various functions. Although smartphones were first seen as a technological advancement in human evolution, it slowly took a turn for the worse. Young adult users began to show signs of mental health issues linked to the usage of their smartphones. Issues such as depression, self-isolation, trouble focusing, irritability, and anxiety began to show their face into the light. Upon extensive research, evidence suggested that prolonged usage of these smartphones were linked to rapid mood swings in young adult users. Moving on, an article by Tanya Williams from the Insider's News indicated that studies showed that exposure to blue and white light given off by these smartphones at night prevented our brains from releasing what is known as melatonin. Melatonin was simply your hormone that tells our bodies whether this was nighttime. That means, due to the effects of this blue light, it would take us longer to fall asleep. People who were sleep deprived were more likely to experience symptoms such as irritability, reduced attention span, lack of energy, and severe mood swings. Another symptom from prolonged usage of smartphones was loneliness and depression. Perhaps the cruelest irony of these smartphones was that while its purpose was to connect us, it actually did quite the opposite. Studies suggested that communication via a smartphone was no substitute for real face-to-face interaction with other human beings. Not only that, but researchers found that increased phone time correlated with increased feelings of loneliness. Self-isolation. When we spend a lot of time on our smartphones trying to snap the perfect selfie, coming up with clever posts, or presenting a polished version of ourselves, it's unsurprising that research suggests that a correlation between smartphone addiction and isolation was pretty relevant. This in turn means that people who focus more on their cell phones were more likely to isolate themselves from real-world interactions, and can in turn make it even more difficult to build healthy relationships in real life. This is usually as a result of this self-image we've built around ourselves. In a study conducted by University of Illinois, aimed at assessing how cell phone usage could impact mental health, researchers found surprising information. After reviewing the answers to several strategic questions, the researchers found that subjects who described themselves as having addictive style behaviors towards cell phones and the internet scored much higher on anxiety scales. Users tended to become more anxious whenever separated from their phones, and displayed feelings of separation anxieties from their phone. This was as a result of how social media apps and phones affected their self-perception, body image, and how they saw themselves. Although cell phones can be very beneficial in helping us conduct our day-to-day activities, users should not forget about the psychological and physiological effects it can have on our bodies.